Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the practice of being human, and welcome back to part two of our conversation on sturdy parenting, or as I like to say, the holy, holy work of being human while raising humans. It is no small feat. In part one, we talked about the foundational pieces of sturdiness, and that includes understanding that so much of what we think should be instinctual is not, it is more learned. So, remembering that and knowing that the learning curve is big and steep. It's how our kids are not here to make us feel good, right? They are here to be themselves, become themselves very, very well. They are on their own path. How behavior is communication. It is not that we have a bad kid, it is that we have a good kid, a good young adult, a good human having a hard time. It's about how perfectionism is protection, it is a guard, it is an armor, and it can be really destructive. We know this to be true. I think there's another way of doing it. And of course, how repair is the medicine of every meaningful relationship. We explored what it means to stay connected to ourselves because I believe that to be the real deep work and connected, not just to ourselves, but to our children. So it's an and, right? At the same time, it's this very fragile, beautiful, sacred balance that none of us ever gets perfect. Perfect isn't really even a thing, right? But all of us can practice and help balance it by going a little bit deeper. We're now going to talk about what so many families are living right now, which is anxiousness in our kids and in ourselves. And we're going to explore the difference between false anxiety and true anxiety. This is in light of Dr. Ellen Vora's work and how both false and true anxiety shows up in the body and heart, and how we, as sturdy, conscious parents, as humans, can meet each one with the right kind of support. Whether it is false or true, it absolutely feels real either way. And this is where I like to say science meets soul. This is where the nervous systems can soften. This is where also compassion becomes a skill and not just a feeling. So let's settle in, take a breath, maybe let your shoulders drop a little, and part two begins here. False anxiety. This is more physiological, okay? And it's caused by low blood sugar, exhaustion, screen overload, sensory overwhelm, poor sleep, maybe very little movement to no movement, inflammation, dehydration, right? Not getting that necessary hydration each day. I'm trying so hard to get my 1 gallon of water a day, which I'm not doing so well because I drink a few cups of coffee a day too, which I think just kind of negates that. But I like to still think I'm getting a lot of water in me. But regardless, those things that are more the false anxiety drivers, they look like more, how do they manifest? They're going to manifest as meltdowns, irritability, maybe some tearful moments out of nowhere. You just have these meltdowns and you're like, what is going on? It could be restlessness. Everything is wrong, right? The bigness of all of it. There's really very little ability to have perspective. Just keep in mind, false anxiety, it's not an emotional failure, and it's just a body out of balance. What gets them back in alignment? Food, rest, water, sunlight, movement, routine, calm, co-regulation, just a calm environment, right? It needs nourishment, not analysis. So meet false anxiety from that place of nourishment. And I think you're going to find yourself making some really good inroads with it. Now, true anxiety, this comes more from within, okay? It says, I feel alone. I feel overwhelmed. I don't feel safe. I'm scared to fail. I don't belong. I feel disconnected. So, within these feelings, right, of what it is inside of us to be feeling these things, what does true anxiety need? It needs slowing down, it needs connection, it needs listening, co regulation, boundaries, repair if needed, worthiness. It needs presence. So whether it's the individual with the anxiety or it's the person who is able to hold the space for the anxiety and is right there to tend to them, just understand it needs presence, not solutions in that moment. Another big one that is really important to address when it comes to our parenting and our young people is social media. And this, my friends, is the false world that our kids are living in. Because social media, as we know, is not real life. It's a false world. And this false world is a frictionless world. It's not a place that you're going to get the human interaction and have that natural inborn friction that you have with another, the pushback, the empathy, the disappointment, the upset, the excitement, the joy. You're not going to have that on social media. You're going to be in more receiver mode, but there's not going to be as much of the giver mode. This is a world that is, I think, designed to dysregulate. Based on our design, it is dysregulating because it creates comparison without context, connection without intimacy, validation without safety, stimulation without grounding, and identity without authenticity. So kids are carrying more emotional input from their phones than their nervous systems are wired to handle. Social media, not surprisingly, then creates more of the false anxiety by overwhelming the body. And then the true anxiety it can create is by threatening belonging and identity. So these are big, big things. A sturdy parent does not manage this with fear or a lack of awareness or interest, but they manage it with boundaries. Media hygiene. So it might just mean, hey, you know what? Phone's off at this time, or phones are on the charger at this time, or no phones at the dinner table, no phones in the family room, no phones in the bedroom. I don't know, but it's putting in safeguards for our people. So media hygiene, recognizing we all need a break from it. Co-regulation, education, anchoring messages like, hey, you're so much more than a post. You don't need to perform here to matter. It's a done deal. Your worth, it's not up for public vote or negotiation by a person or a thing. How many of us really carry that within ourselves and know that deep down? And this is why it's so hard to convey this to our kids, because if we're not feeling that and believing that and knowing that, how do we pass that to our kids, right? So it can be both growing in that for you, and it is never too late. I speak from experience, and it's being able to model that, show that, and live that with our kids. There was a mom who asked about connection capital with her kid, with her son. And so wanted to address a little bit of that because I think connection capital is really this kind of emotional bank account that our kids draw from. What is connection capital built from? It's built from emotional presence. It's built from being right here. I see you. I'm right here. I love you. I'm all in. I'm listening. I got you. It's being right here. It's not perfection. How do we create connection capital? It's giving our kids time. It's spending unfettered time with them, meaning no disruptions. Put your phone away. And when you're with your child, and that might be for 10 minutes, you might be all in on them and the thing that they're doing. Maybe it's building Legos, or maybe it's someone playing the guitar, or maybe it's your daughter drawing with paint and you're right there with her, delighting in it, you're asking questions, or just holding space. You're right there with them. When you have a young adult who's going through a really difficult time, it's not coaching them, it's supporting them. It's being right there. It's listening. It's not telling them the fix, right? It's just saying, I see you. I got you. I'm right here. So connection capital comes from and through listening, curiosity, play, being alongside. It could include walks, right? Pausing the phone and delighting in who they are. When they walk in that room, you're all in, delighting in their presence, how good it is to be with them right there in that moment. Words that build connection capital could be, I delight in you. I see you figuring things out. I love how you ask questions, how curious you are. I love how you hang with hard things. You don't need to be perfect. And I'm so glad to be your parent in this life. Connection is the soil. And then worthiness grows in that soil. So remember that. Plant the seeds, my friends, of connection. All right, frustration. This is a big thing because I think we often go about minimizing frustration, especially for our young people. Here's the thing, to live in such a convenience-driven culture and one that doesn't build their frustration tolerance doesn't do us any favors when it comes to resilience. And this is what I hear from parents often. I want my child to be more resilient. How do I get them to be more resilient? And the irony is that you want them to feel more frustration. You want them to learn how to navigate frustration, how to feel it, how to be with it, and then how to work with it. Frustration is not failure, right? It's development. It's hard and you can do this. I believe in you. I see you. I know you can figure this out. This is stretching you and your brain. Your brain is growing in the process. So hang in there. Don't rescue kids from frustration. Accompany them through it. That's the difference. And this is true for young kids as much as it's true for our young adults. We can talk a little bit about feelings because feelings plus skills, that is the sweet spot. That's where regulation happens. And this is true for us as it is for our kids. We might have more skills than our kids in terms of feelings, but probably not a whole lot more. What our kids have are commensurate with what we have. Kids are not born with emotional regulation. They learn it. They're born with the capacity to learn it. And we too are born with that capacity and often didn't learn it in our childhoods. And so we have the ability to learn it through modeling, co-regulation, boundaries, naming feelings, presence, repetition, being willing to be messy and to know nothing has gone wrong. It's breath, getting back to breath. I don't think there is a better regulator for our nervous systems, for us as humans, than our breath. So just the acknowledgement, that was a big feeling and I'm here for it. I got you. I see you. Or your feelings, they make sense. Let's talk after your body settles. Or, hey, you are a marvelous human and you're really messy right now and having a really hard time. And it can be one and the same. And it's all going to be okay. You are always enough, right? Sturdy boundaries. This one we have talked about on so many episodes because it comes up, because it matters. And I think we all have misconceptions around boundaries. So just think of boundaries not as punishment, they're safety. And I love thinking about it like that because what they say is, hey, I'm the stable one. I'm the sturdy one right here, and you're safe with me. I got you. You can push up against, and I'm here for all of it. Now, that doesn't mean I'm the punching bag, but it does mean I'm here for it. When you're ready, circle back. You can push up against me, and nothing you say or do is going to change that. But it's also modeling for them what is appropriate, what is not, and then guiding them in that process of figuring that out. Boundaries are what I will do, not what you are trying to request of another person. It's not about control. It's not about requests. It's about just communicating what you will do. So it could be, I'm not going to let you hit. Or, hey, the iPad turns off at 7. Or that TV show, done by 6 o'clock. Or, hey, when you call me 5 times in an hour and I'm in a meeting, unless it's an emergency, I'm not going to be picking up the phone. I'll call you when I'm able. And that is just to say, hey, I'm here and I hear you and I see you, and you're going to need to wait. Back to frustration tolerance, right? Hold the phone, literally and figuratively. Boundary plus empathy. It's not punishing them, it's saying, this is what I will do in this situation, and I see you, your feelings are valid, and I'm safe for this. We're going to help you process this through. There's a process here. This segues beautifully into the next thing that is so important for us to have in our toolkit, our parenting toolkit, but our humaning toolkit. And that is 3 regulating sentences. So it could be our partner in front of us as much as it could be our child, our young adult. Could be this: I am so glad that we're talking about this. I believe you. Tell me more. Repeat. I am so glad we're talking about this. I believe you. Tell me more, right? I mean, come on. How often do we actually say that to our partner as much as to our children? But that helps with the regulation. That helps with that feeling of being seen. So there's the empathy. And it's also, it's like, hey, safe space here. Got this. I'm all in. Tell me more. So beautiful, right? Considering these regulating kinds of sentences that we can have in our toolkit, it also is helpful to understand where body awareness and stillness plays into all of this, because when we think about co-regulation, we think about nervous system, and we think about how our kids are borrowing our nervous system, the more capacity we have for stillness, for reflection, for groundedness, for sturdiness, for body awareness, the more we're going to pass that to our kids. We regulate first, right? And how do we regulate? How might that appear to the person across from us? That could appear softer eyes, lower voice, slower cadence in the words that we're speaking, grounded feet, maybe a longer exhale. It's slowing our roll, which helps our nervous system slow their roll. It reads as safety. So it could just be, let's breathe together. You're safe. One slow breath at a time. This sturdiness thing is such a powerful and lovely metaphor of what it is to be a parent. The more we step into this, oh my gosh, self-trust, self-love, worthiness, it all follows. And kids learn their worthiness through our sturdiness, right? Because if you think about it, sturdiness is coming from that inner knowing. We're good. And we might be having a hard time, but we're learning a skill set and a toolkit, how to process that, how to communicate that, how to move with that in the world. That only reminds us of what is most important, which is worthiness. It's a done deal. It's inherent, right? It's our birthright. Now, how do we become sturdier? That requires practice. But when you understand that our kids learn their worthiness through our sturdiness, I think it's more incentive. It just says, this is something I want to keep growing into and really stepping into. Worthiness sounds like, hey, I can be messy and still belong. I can fail, still be loved. I can mess up and I can try again. I can feel hard things and still stay connected, right? All of those things matter. And this moves right into rupture and repair, because when you think about every relationship has its ruptures, and I think I talked about this in part 1, the healing is in the repair, okay? It could be, I'm sorry I yelled. You didn't cause that, and I'm working on staying calmer. Or it could be, hey, you know what? I didn't handle that well. You didn't cause it. You have every right to feel what you felt. Can we try again? We can do this with our partners as well. So remember that this isn't just for our young people. This is for all of our relationships. Hey, you know what? I didn't show up so well here. And you have every right to feel what you felt. And I'm working on this thing that I'm, the yelling or the shutting down or the blaming or the shaming or whatever it is. I'm working on it and I'm here for it. And I'm going to keep leaning into that, right? Can we try again? Repair This is how we all learn self-trust and relational resilience. I think that's about it for now, because I think that's a lot to take in. So let's bring this all full circle. When we parent with sturdiness, behavior becomes communication. It's not a bad kid. It's a good kid having a hard time. It's true for us as parents. It's a human, a good human, having a hard time. So behavior becomes communication. It's not a judgment. Anxiousness becomes manageable. Worthiness becomes rooted. Frustration becomes growth. Connection becomes the foundation. And repair becomes medicine. And this, my friends, is where we and our children, our young adults, can feel safe to be fully human. Our people don't need perfect parenting. They don't need perfect partnering. They need a present human, a present parent, a present partner, a sturdy parent, a self-aware parent, a repairing parent. Your presence, not your perfection, is what shapes your child. It shapes your relationships. It shapes your experience and the experience of you. So return, repair, reconnect. And until next week, know that I send my love and I am right here with you, walking the walk. And I can't imagine a better community to be doing this with. So sending love and light to each and every one of you.